Hi, due to desire of many of my followers that ask me to make more videos about laptop schematics, I'm going to explain to you a whole laptop schematics. As you can see here, we have a 68 pages. I'm going to explain to you all these pages one by one and step by step until you become a professional on laptop motherboard repair using schematic reading. So we're gonna discuss and study these 68 pages step by step. So we're gonna of course begin, as you can see here, with the table of contents. We're gonna see some terminologies here, and then we're gonna see the block diagram of the laptop, and then we will pass to the power sequence. As you can see, we have the adapter. As you can see, this is the battery. Here we have the ICs. Okay, so for example, we have the 3 volt and 5 volt IC. So I'm going to explain to you all about the power sequence of this laptop. And of course, if you understand just one laptop schematics, you can understand any other laptop schematic. You know why? Because all laptop schematics are based on the same working principle. We're gonna discuss, as you can see, the charge IC circuit. As you can see, this is the charge IC circuit. Here, as you can see, we have the DC jack. So we're gonna discuss all this page, every symbol and every component. We're gonna talk about every part, every symbol and component in this circuit, and so on. As you can see, we're gonna see all these pages. And at the same time, I'm going to show you some real motherboards in order to go deeper into understanding the schematics. Because when we talk about schematics and we talk in the same time about real motherboards, you can know exactly each component refer to each symbol. Okay? So let's get started. So we will begin with the table of contents in the page number 2. Basically, in page number 1, we have nothing. So we will begin with the table of contents. So please pay attention, because here we have some terminology that you should know. So let's get started. Here, as you can see, in the page number 5. In page number 5 for the schematic, as you know, we have 68 pages. Okay, so in page number 5, we're gonna discuss the DC and the battery changer. Okay, here we're gonna study the DC power, the input power, where we have the power jack and the battery changer. Okay, then in page number 6, we're gonna discuss select and battery connectors. And in page number 7, we're gonna see the system power, 3 volt, 5 volt and 12 volt. Okay, basically this is a very important powers in the motherboard. And then in page number 8, we're gonna see the system power, 1.2 volt and 2.5 volt. Here in page number 9, we're gonna see the system power, VGA, VCC, 1.5 volt. This power basically is for the graphic card. And then here the system power, 1.8 volt and VCCP. Basically 1.8 volt is for the RAM. Okay, so in page 11, we will see the CPU power, the VCC core. We're gonna see the CPU power circuit. How the VCC core is generated. Okay, the VCC core is the working voltage for the CPU. Without this voltage, the CPU cannot work properly. So 12, we're gonna see the system power, 0.9 volt. As you can see, 0.9 volt is the half of 1.8 volt. These two powers are for the RAM. This is the main power for RAM, and this is the VTT, or the power for terminals, the RAM terminals power. Okay, and of course VCCP, this power is for three chipsets: for the CPU, the graphic card, the NOT bridge, and also the ICH, or the input output control hub. So 13, we're gonna see the power slip: S5, S4, S3, S1, and so on. So 14, the power sequence. 15, we're gonna see the clock generator. IC, the clock generator, basically is the IC that is responsible to generate the clock or timing for the whole motherboard. Okay, so in these 4 pages, by page 16, 17, 18, and 19, this is basically for the processor. We have here, its type is Dotton CPU. Okay, so we're gonna see the Dotton CPU processor in these 4 pages. We're gonna see its pinouts, the power for the processor, the component around the processor, etc. Okay, so in page 20, we're gonna see the thermal and fan controller. And here in these pages, page 21, 22, 23, and 24, we're gonna see the Alviso NOT bridge. This is basically the NOT bridge. And in page 26, we're going to see the DDR2 RAM. Okay, so DDR2, the type of the RAM in this laptop is DDR2. That's why we have here 1.8 volts. So 1.8 volt is for DDR2. So also in page 27 and 28. And then we're going to see in page 29, as you can see, the DVA controller. This is basically a video connector. This connector is connected to the graphic card. So those pages are blank. So in page 35, we're gonna see the CRT and S video connector. Here we have LCD connector. This is basically ICH in these pages. ICH or SOT bridge. Then here in page 42, we're gonna see the KBC or the keyboard controller, and here we have the firmware hub. This is basically the BIOS. FWH means the BIOS or the firmware hub. Then in these pages, as you can see, we're gonna see the point devices, the Super IO serial port. Here we have the EC97 codec. This is an IC basically. Here we have the mic. So this is the audio connectors, and here also we have the audio amplifications and high speaker. And in page 51, we're gonna discuss about the HDD connector or the hard disk drive. So we're gonna see the hard disk drive pinout and signals, and then here the multi-buy connector, the USB and IR connector, the card bus controller, the PC card slot, the SD card connector. We're gonna see also here the mini PC connector. In page 59, we're gonna see the LAN interface, the LAN RJ45 connector, the docking connector. So here in page 63, we're gonna see the MDC connector, and here the TCPA connector, the Bluetooth connector, the LED LED switch, and finally in page 67, we're gonna see the LED board connection. So let's pass to the third page. So basically here, so let's zoom a little bit. So here, as you can see in page 3, so basically this is the block diagram. So as I told you before in the previous video, if you understand just the block diagram of any computer or any laptop, you can understand the whole working principle of that laptop. So here basically this is the processor. Okay, this is the processor. The processor is connected to the NOT bridge. This is basically the NOT bridge with the graphic card. Here we have the graphic card integrated with the NOT bridge. Why? Because here, as you can see, we have the RAM. Okay, so the RAM is always connected to the NOT bridge, and here we have the graphic connectors. Once we have this, connectors are connected to this chipset, means the graphic card is integrated here. Okay, so the processor, the NOT bridge, or we can call it the GMCH, or the graphic memory control hub. So graphic memory control hub. So the processor is connected to this chipset via this bus. We have the FECP bus, means the front side bus. Okay, and then this GMCH is connected directly to the ICH, or to the input output control hub, via this bus, DMI bus, or direct media interface. Okay, so as you can see here, the NOT bridge, as I told you before, is connected to the RAM slots in one side, and also connected to the video connectors. We have S-Video, we have LCM, the CRT, and DVI, as you can see. So for the ICH, as you can see, the ICH basically is the controller for the whole connectors and ICs in the motherboard. So all other ICs, including BIOS, CPU input output, keyboard controller, and all connectors are connected to this ICH. That's why we called it input output control hub. So as you can see, here we have the HDD, the hard disk drive. As you can see, in page, the hard disk drive, as you can see, is connected to the ICH via this bus, IDE bus. Okay, here, as you can see, we have USB. This is basically the USB connectors here, connected also to the ICH. So if you have, for example, all these USB connectors are failed, means you have problem in the ICH. So it is also connected, as you can see, to LAN controllers, as you can see here. As you can see, we have here RG45, SD card slot, card bus slot, smart card, and also connected to the BIOS, as you can see, the system BIOS or firmware hub. Also connected, as you can see, to the Super IO and so on. So in the block diagram, we can just know about the architecture of the laptop. This laptop basically has the graphic card integrated with the NOT bridge and has a separated ICH and a separated CPU. And here, as you can see, this is basically the clock generator, the IC that gives the timing or the clock for the whole motherboard. So that's enough for the first part. So tomorrow we're gonna continue, and I'm going to explain to the power sequence, okay? And also we're gonna study this page, as you can see, the charge IC circuit, where we have the DC jack, the charge IC, and the battery connector.